the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 16. We made it. Waiver wire pickups, injuries, some recaps, and are we going to do viewer questions? Probably not, Chris Meaney.
No, you're not going to get too many questions, I would imagine, that are not going to make you go banned for life.
Well, I didn't do the waiver column this week either because I'm going to release my rankings today, like later on today. It's the same thing at this point.
You're not picking up anybody that you're going to probably put in your championship roster. I mean, I'm not going to say that.
I'm going to make that the giveaway
Okay.
for today's show. So if you want to get into a giveaway for $20 DK, and I'll announce the last week's winners here in a second, that in the comment section, not the live chat, the comment section, give the episode a like. Always got to give the episode a like. Got to do that.
It's a must.
Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and let me know if there is a player that you would pick up this week and who would it be that you would play in a championship roster. It could be a 3-4 matchup, I guess.
It certainly could.
Like you could pick up Jamal Williams.
Sure. I mean, I play in a dozen fantasy football leagues, and I'll scan the waiver wire. You could be in a situation where you may. If you had Aaron Jones and you got by yesterday. Yesterday was a weird day.
We'll get to that in a second. Here are the winners from last week. We got Charlie Don't Surf 19. Okay. Strange name, but he's 20 DK dollars richer. Yep. Griff D24, Stewie 1963, Jesse Bell 33, Tennis Kid, Vault 520 are the winners from the comment section draw and the iTunes draw. And the iTunes draw is still available. Nice. Fewer and fewer people are actually taking advantage of the iTunes draw. There's only like 4 people in it last week.
Wow, they're missing out.
Yeah, well, just everyone left the reviews all at once. Now, if you leave your iTunes review now, you're going to be good. So just go 5-star review, leave your DK handle, something nice about the show. Okay. Something that would encourage people to come listen.
Yes. It shouldn't be hard.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't give it a positive review unless I was enticed by $20 DK dollars.
Yeah, well, you should be. It's 20 DK bucks.
So yesterday, so those are the giveaways. Let's just talk about the running back injuries just for a second. We'll try to bang out the waiver wire as quickly as possible. Aaron Jones, Frank Gore, Lamar Miller all go down. Todd Gurley got hurt, but he came back.
Yeah.
So would you sweat him?
I mean, slightly. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago whether how much play he would get this time of the year. But, with the Rams losing that game and the Bears winning their game, Chicago could actually catch L.A. They hold the tiebreaker as well. LA has got a pretty favorable schedule. I think they got Arizona and then San Fran. So I wouldn't sweat him. I think he'll play. But it was very interesting to see him not start that game yesterday in the second half. He was on the sidelines. He had his knee wrapped up, but he came back and, he scored a touchdown. He looked fine. So
the Niners are spunky now. Yeah. Knocking off Denver, knocking off Seattle.
This time of the year, you see these teams just check out. They look awful. Like they can't. They don't care. But San Fran, doesn't have that mentality. They're still going hard and getting it done. Like they got some players, man. Dennis Pettis is a nice
Dante Pettis.
Dante Pettis.
I wish his name was Dennis Pettis.
Yeah, Dennis Pettis.
That'd be great.
Dante Pettis is obviously we know about George Kittle, so they got some guys that can play.
It's funny that I watched more of that game yesterday than I watched of the Patriots and Steelers game because I was flipping back and forth. But we had massive fantasy implications in the Niners and Seahawks game, and that game could not have gone better for us.
No, it was.
I guess
awesome.
Kittle catching a touchdown would have been better.
It would have, yeah. So we had Kittle and Chris Carson, and Carson had a phenomenal day, and what a run to get into the end zone for his final touchdown.
And we were playing against Tyler Lockett, who got stopped on the 1 to set up the 3 straight runs from Chris Carson. It was
amazing.
Like, yeah. And they went for it on 4th.
I know.
Let's do this.
I know.
Then Gurley scumbagged us.
Yeah. Jonah had Pettis as well. And then Gurley screwed us. And it was looking okay, like I said, when Gurley came out of that game. We knew he was going to be fine, but, towards the end, he started racking up all those garbage time catches.
Then the touchdown.
Which really, Reynolds was an inch away from finding the end zone. So, yeah, things went our way and didn't, and now we need Ian Thomas to put up 2.4.
2.4, yeah. 24 yards or less for Ian Thomas tonight.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we're the favorite, but it's not inconceivable that he just sucks.
Exactly, yeah.
Everyone else sucked this week. Why can't Ian Thomas?
It's very true. It was a really weird week, especially for running backs. Backs that you thought were going to get some play, some goal line play, didn't get it.
So the other guys that missed the games, James Conner, Spencer Ware, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, Kerryon Johnson. I don't think we see Kerryon Johnson again.
No, I mean,
Why
it why
bring him back at this point?
Yeah, there's no point.
Crowell is on IR. He's done.
He's done.
Shady, Chris Ivory both missed the game. And then Marcus Murphy, who was their starter, also left the game.
Yeah.
Everyone was just going down on the Bills. Isaiah McKenzie was carted off and came back.
I saw that.
I don't know how that's possible, but he did. It was good because I had Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, I had some Murphy in a dynasty format. Obviously it didn't work out. He had just as many points, I think, as Dion Lewis, which was my other option. So, yeah, I mean, I think Elijah McGuire, I don't know if he's hanging around the waiver wire.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
is.
If anyone really believed in that matchup against the Texans. It was a tough matchup, but he did. He
got
fairly
it.
well.
He got the goal line work, and Trenton Cannon, I think it was around like 66%, 33% in terms of snap share. But the last 2 weeks, he's played the Texans and the Bills. Those are two pretty good defenses. Now against the Packers, you can run on the Packers.
Oh, of course, yeah, you can. We saw Jordan Howard eat him up in the middle of the field a couple of times yesterday. So, yeah, I think that could that's a guy that I would play.
Here's a guy. Jamal Williams or Elijah McGuire. Do you think if you had to pick up a running back?
So they play each other, right?
Yeah. It's probably Williams, right?
Yeah, if there was no Aaron Jones.
I don't think this is the same injury Aaron Jones had last year that made him miss 2 games.
That missed with the knee injury. Yeah, so I think it would be Jamal. I think there's just more upside, I guess, in that offense.
The problem is that if you're putting in your waiver claims now, what if we don't know about Aaron Jones? Yeah. Do you just put in a claim for both of them?
I think you put in a claim for both of them. I mean, it's most likely just going to be you and another.
Yeah.
Battling it out. I don't know how everyone's league works. Maybe, there's something for third or something for consolation. I know there's a lot for consolation in my leagues. All the Derrick Henry owners are getting first pick next year.
Consolation bracket MVP Derrick Henry.
But we have some rules where you don't get first dib on waiver wire. You get to like Friday or something. It's like a lock on Friday. So
that's actually that's a really savvy way to go about it.
Yeah.
So waivers is for the teams
still
left
for everyone else,
but the other teams can make moves. It's just after everyone else.
Yeah, they can.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, you got till Friday morning to make your moves, make your spec ads, whatever you need to do, and then it's free game for everybody else, and including consolation and third place. So, I mean, I think McGuire or even if you don't need him, and you have a higher waiver claim on your opponent.
Okay, do you
snatch him up?
Would you put in a claim for like Kalen Ballage?
No. I just can't see myself playing him in a championship.
I can't see it either.
It's tough.
Do we really expect?
Like Drake was still hanging around.
He had 4 touches.
I know.
4 touches. They were running Wildcat. He had 4 touches. There was no Gore.
And when Gore went down, I said, "All right, here we go, Drake."
No.
Finally, we'll get a good look at Drake and what he could do with just a lot of touches on himself last year. Towards the end of the season, he was battling with Damian Williams. By the way, Damian Williams winning people semifinals.
Yeah, seriously. If Spencer Ware is back, like Melvin Gordon's expected to be back, Keenan Allen might play. Mm-hmm. Eckler, I don't know if he's going to be back or not. Yeah. He had a stinger, then he had a concussion, so that's a tough one. If Spencer Ware is back, is Spencer Ware still the guy to play, or do you play Damian Williams? Do you think?
That's a tough call, and honestly, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's split. I think it's like a 60-40, and it was kind of split anyways. I know Ware was getting the bulk of the touches, but it was Williams who was getting the goal line work 2 weeks ago.
What about other Williams?
Yeah.
Other D. Williams?
Darrell, right?
Darrell.
Yeah,
or Darrell.
Darrell.
I don't know which one
Darrell.
it is. Okay.
He had a receiving touchdown last week.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I think it was in the red zone or just outside of it. But when Spencer Ware was playing, it was Damian who had the red zone target for a touchdown and the goal line opportunity for a touchdown. And I go back to 2 years ago when it was all Ware, and he only had 3 rushing touchdowns. Like, the goal line back was Alex Smith then. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. They just gave it to Smith.
So you would go Williams over Ware?
I would go Williams over Ware because of the red zone opportunities that I think he'll get, and he's just healthy right now. Who knows? Like, what if Ware comes in and takes another shot? Like his shoulder concussion?
Sure, that's tough to bank on in a championship matchup, though. Like, if you had the championship matchup right now, and, like, let's say you knew Spencer Ware was going to be back, right?
Yeah.
And Damian Williams was available on the waiver wire, but so were the other 2. So were Williams, so were McGuire. At least they're playing. I mean, with Williams, we don't know because of Jones. Yeah. I would expect Jones to be out. With McGuire, we know he's the guy. He's the safest of these guys for playing time.
He's the safest. Yeah, if you want to go from just pure floor and safety, then it's McGuire and it's probably Jamal.
Yeah.
And then after that, if you want to go for upside, if you're shooting for upside and points, it's Damian because the offense is great. They're going to go to Seattle this week. Like, yeah, it's a tough place to play in, but it's still like that team just puts up 30 points every single week. They're just going to score points. And I don't know. There's a slight tick.
I don't know how sold I am on Seattle's defense. Yeah, they shut down Minnesota. Great.
Yeah. Well, sure.
They couldn't shut down Mull Holmes, Nick Mullins.
And a couple weeks ago, we threw for almost 500 yards on them.
They were up by like 50 that entire game.
Yes, this still counts.
This is true. So Houston next week would be the only other one. They're at Philly. And Lamar Miller got banged up. I don't know if he's going to play or not. But would you play blue? Yeah.
It's just you're getting yourself into, if you're going with these options, it really is a guessing game.
Well, you probably at most you probably need one, or you need to pick one up to block someone else if they need to pick someone up.
Yeah,
those are the only two options here.
Yeah, I think that I haven't heard anything about Miller, but he hung around for most of that game. I know Blue was coming in and getting some touches.
Yeah, once he had the ankle injury, he was done though.
Yeah.
And Foreman might eventually be back.
I think what we were just talking about, I think the safest is McGuire, because we know he's just guaranteed all those touches and those looks. He can catch it to the backfield. He's going to get that goal line opportunity. But I think if you're shooting for upside, it's D. Williams.
I think it'd be Jay Williams, Jamal
Jay.
Williams. It's just there's no one else there now.
Yeah.
And they're playing the Jets.
Yeah.
Like we talk about the Packers being a crappy defense. The Jets have a crappy defense.
Yeah, the Jets do have a crappy defense.
And if Williams is on the field for like 80% of these snaps, he's getting involved in the passing game all of a sudden. The Packers' offense has been atrocious.
It really has.
It should be better against the Jets, I would think.
I mean, sure. I guess it could be. I mean, Aaron Rodgers still hasn't thrown over 2 touchdowns since week 5 in a football game.
No quarterback this week threw for more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was actually looking.
The first time since 2010 that's
2010.
happened.
Amazing.
And that week, Tim Tebow was the highest scoring fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, well, you look at some of the top few. It's Allen again. It's Lamar Jackson again. Like these guys that are running around.
Who is the fantasy MVP? Is it Derrick Henry? Because I don't feel like anyone has Derrick. Like I put it out yesterday that he is the consolation bracket MVP, and there's like 2 people who are like, "Wow, he's on my championship team." It's like great. So you didn't use him all year. It really worked out for you. Because probably what happened if you used Derrick Henry in a playoff
I've used him
matchup,
as a Kareem Hunt owner. That's what has happened.
Kareem Hunt,
Melvin
Melvin Gordon,
James Conner.
Like James Conner. If one of those guys got hurt, they saved you from having to use Derrick Henry all year.
It's the only way.
And now Derrick Henry's in. So I think Josh Allen's actually the fantasy MVP for the playoffs, because teams that are in the playoffs are using Josh Allen. That's how they got there.
Yeah, and I've been using him in cash on DraftKings over the past couple weeks and
great.
been successful. Yeah, it's been 3 straight weeks where I've cashed in 50-50s and head-to-heads and double-ups because of Josh Allen as my quarterback. Yesterday, I paired him up with Foster. It's the same thing. He's topped over 100 yards now in 3 of his last 4 games. His ADOT is like 26. I know it's a small sample size, but they just take shots of them down the field, and this is exactly what happened yesterday.
They only have 2 plays.
Yeah.
Their plays are Josh Allen run. They didn't even try that yesterday, and then just bomb it.
Yeah,
And try to get pass interference.
He didn't run around as much as before he had the rushing touchdown, but yeah, I would say if you're putting a poll with 4 guys for fantasy MVP, he's one of them.
He is, and I actually think he's made a real impact about people's fantasy teams, where Derrick Henry is more of like, oh, he's taking away from Deion Lewis. Oh, no, the guy who has Derrick Henry in my league is out.
Yeah, so he's
one of those guys.
There's 4 or 5 leagues where I have Henry, and I'll tell you 4 or 5 leagues that I'm not making the playoffs. It's not even close because he didn't do anything for me. Like I said, it's the one league where I had Kareem Hunt and I had absolutely no choice but to play this guy. But the week before, when I needed to win, I played him. He didn't do anything. So we get to he'll be an interesting topic in the offseason, because this time last year, he took over from DeMarco Murray. He was hot down the stretch. He got all these carries. We're heading in exactly into this time.
DeMarco Murray feels like 15 years ago.
Right?
He played last year.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So he gets hurt, or he was hurt, but really Henry took over and he was just better. And then into the playoffs, remember the game against Kansas City? He's getting 20 touches. He's catching the ball in the backfield. He's topping 200 yards. And now back-to-back weeks.
He had 33 carries yesterday.
33 carries. The Titans are 4-0 when he gets at least 17. They've won their last 4 games when he gets double digits. Just 10 carries. Like, I know part of that early in the year was game script. When they're down, Lewis comes on the field. But, like, Henry he's a decent back, man.
But would you, let's say we start out next year, and he goes, with the way that he's finishing this year, I would bet he goes 2nd, 3rd round in fantasy drafts next year. End of the 2nd, into the 3rd.
It's still too.
That's where I would guess he would go in like a 12-team league.
Yeah.
What if he just does the same thing again at the beginning of next year?
It's very
Like that's
possible.
all. That's not in that again. That's not inconceivable.
No, it's very possible. Like for me to get excited about him, honestly, and this may sound weird, is they would just need to do something else on offense, like get another weapon, or just because they just can't move the ball. They don't score a lot of points, and most of the time when he gets onto the football field, it's just stack the box. And what are you going to do? You got Corey Davis, and that's it, right? So I think they'd have to improve offensively for me to get excited about him. But doing a mock right now on The Athletic, and it'll release soon. We're into round 5, and he hasn't gone yet, and 20 backs are off the board.
That's surprising to me.
There's some guy like Derek Geis, McKinnon. These guys who were hurt have gone. I'd say like Henry would probably be the next one, but
Would you go if it was you? Would you go? Because I mean, this is another good game for Derrick Henry. When you guys started this draft, he had the one game like weird aberration.
yeah, he had the one game.
So like, would you take Jarek? Would you take Derrick Henry?
I think I'd probably take Jarek. But
It's like, is Breda going to be a thing
that's
next
the
year?
one thing. Like, is Brady going to be hanging around? It's very appealing to have a running back in the
Well, you said
Shanahan offense.
11 running backs went in the first round.
Yeah, 11 went in the first round, including Chubb. And Lindsey wasn't one of them. And then in the second round,
I would take Chubb over Lindsey.
Yeah, me too. In fact, I think I was like in the 10th spot. I went Chubb. It was like Chubb and Bell, 10 and 11, right around that range. And then, you start to see the wide receiver run. And then you get back into the running backs with Lindsey, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook.
Really, Dalvin Cook was that low?
Yeah,
I thought
Dalvin
he
Cook
would
wasn't
one
in
of
the
the
top
first-
11.
Really?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Who
actually.
are the top
A little
11?
sneak peek.
I'm very curious.
So
about
it
this.
went Zeke, Gurley, Barkley, Kamara, Gordon.
Is this PPR or non-PPR?
It's PPR. I
Then
would treat it that
McCaffrey should probably.
Yeah,
be first.
McCaffrey went 7, and McCaffrey.
McCaffrey should be 1 or 2.
I would have.
He's going to have 100 catches again next year.
You know what's surprising? Zeke will flirt with that number this year too.
I was thinking about this. Who would be the number 1 pick? And it's not Kamara. I guess
No.
that anticipates Ingram goes away. Because Ingram's a free agent.
Ingram's gonna go away.
And he's awful. So he's
Yeah.
probably just sucking the soul out of everyone that
Yeah,
he's around.
he's gonna go away.
So, I mean, you could make the case realistically, I think, for 5 guys then, assuming that Ingram's not around. Then you would have Kamara there. That if he gets back to his 8 catches a game. So you have McCaffrey, Kamara, Barkley, Zeke, and Gurley. Depending on where Bell goes, I guess, but we don't know what his role is going to stay the same.
Yeah.
Did Connor go inside the top?
Yeah,
round? Okay,
yeah.
he should.
So it went Gordon at 5, McCaffrey at 6, Connor at 7, David Johnson at 8, and then Lev Bell, and then Joe Mixon. So like McCaffrey, Connor, Johnson, Chubb, Bell, Mixon. Those are the first 11 right there. And you know what? I think you can make a case for Gordon is out of that top. I'm a little bit worried.
I'm actually not. I totally just where
Yeah.
he's been out. I've totally forgot about Gordon, but he's in that mix too. It's just he catches so many passes.
He does.
as well.
Well, all these guys, right? Like I said, with Zeke, he had a career high targets and catches after week 9. So Zeke, Gurley, Barkley, Kamara, Gordon, McCaffrey, I'll be happy with any of those guys as your top 6 backs. And then you get into Connor, Johnson, Chubb, Bell, Mixon.
Connor, Johnson, Bell, Chubb, Mixon.
And then in that,
I would have Chubb probably above David Johnson.
me too. I would too.
But I want to see what Arizona does in the offseason. If they can get offensive line help, if they can actually score more than 14 points a game, then
And-
he's looking a lot better.
And that's, to me, when I'm splitting hairs, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the offense. I want to see the upside of the offense. Like Chubb is catching balls out of the backfield too, and the offense is slightly better. It really is. So if Arizona's going to score 10 to 12 points a game, I don't want David Johnson.
This is going to be pretty consensus, I think, of how these drafts are going.
All the backs.
All the backs going, and it's hard to make a case against it because there's a finite amount of backs who get all. We're talking about Elijah McGuire right now on the waiver wire. You know what I mean? In the championship round.
Yeah.
That if you can get one of these lockdown or somehow you can get 2 of them, you're dancing. But
Yeah.
where the good receiver? Who is the one receiver to go? Julio? Hopkins?
Yeah, so I think you could do as much as we're talking about the backs in that tier. I think the same thing for wide receivers. I feel like Tariq Hill, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, DeAndre Hopkins,
Who would you
Devontae
take-
Adams,
who would be your
Julio,
first-
Juju Brown. That's a tier, I think, on its own.
That's like the entire second round
Yeah.
for next year.
Yeah, and then why wouldn't you go back if you can get a solid wide receiver like that? You can get yourself a solid wide receiver 1 in the second round. And even in the third round, guys like Hilton are going, Keenan Allen, Odell Beckham Jr.,
Odell's going in the third. Huh?
yeah, Amari Cooper. Towards the end of this second round, it went tight end. I think that's a strategy some people may take. They may take a Kelsey or an Ertz, is treating them as a wide receiver 1.
You could do that.
And then
I'd rather have Keenan Allen than those guys.
yeah, I myself would rather have a Keenan Allen or Odell Beckham.
Or even Hilton.
And then that next range of backs is, Aaron Jones,
Lindsey.
Kerryon Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, Dalvin Cook, Sony Michel.
Dalvin Cook, I think that's where we jumped off with this. I think
Yeah.
that he's closer to those first-round guys than he is to those third-round guys.
Yeah, I would agree. And, he's put together 4 strong fantasy performances in a row now.
He's just healthy again.
He's
He was good at the beginning of the year. He got hurt.
Exactly.
Then he was hurt. He came back. He's been good.
Exactly. He was just hurt, and now he's catching balls at the backfield. Looks good. Minnesota, that offensive coordinator change. They want to run the football. They ran I think they had over 200 rushing yards yesterday. So they'll continue to run the football.
They don't get to play the Dolphins every week.
Fair enough.
Let's remember that.
Fair enough.
So wide receiver injuries that we saw. You mentioned Keenan Allen. He hurt his hip. They're optimistic that he can play this week against Baltimore.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a Saturday game, isn't it? Yeah, Baltimore at LA Saturday. And then who else do we have here? Randall Cobb suffered a concussion. Odell Beckham. Think we'll see him?
I don't know, man. Who knows with Odell Beckham? Like, I just saw reports that he spends like over $300,000 on his body, so he's always fine, and then he can't fly because of a quad injury, and he wants to knock off everybody. I don't know. I can't tell with Odell Beckham, man. I would say no.
They're at Indy this week.
I would say no, we don't see him, but that would be a huge boost. I have Odell Beckham in spots. I'm already long gone. If you survived and you have him this week, you obviously play him.
Funny all the people
nice
that were
boost.
like making fun of Julio and didn't want Julio. If you just drafted Julio, you would be fine at this point.
Again, he leads the league in yards by a long shot.
How many touchdowns
A
does he have
long
now?
shot.
7?
I think 7. He's come
But
on strong.
I feel like he's been good almost every week.
He has. 1 week he hasn't, and it was against Baltimore. I think he had 2 catches for 16, but it was against Baltimore.
But I think this is
tough matchup.
But I think this is what we're seeing too from all of these running backs in the first round, and it's almost been like the strategy. This week it didn't work out on DraftKings because Barkley was a bust. But most weeks, if you can just jam in 2 of the high end running backs, there's only like 5 really good running backs on every slate. That if you could have 2 of them, you're golden.
Yeah.
And then you try to get lucky somewhere else because these high end wide receivers, they're not consistent.
No, they're not.
Like, why are you paying up? Like, I get paying up for, like, Devontae Adams yesterday because Devontae Adams can go off. And it's like, oh, no one's going to use him. It's a bad matchup. I understand the logic behind it, but it didn't matter what the matchup was. If he doesn't catch a touchdown, he's no good.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. And, Adam Thielen has been quiet a couple weeks in a row now. Antonio Brown had the dud game last week, but for the most part, he's been fine.
Juju had the dud game this week.
Dud game this week when everyone thought the other way around, right? But yeah, no, this time of the year, especially on DraftKings, I think you just pay out for touches. I was pretty fortunate yesterday with Joe Mixon was, he's highly owned, but his price was so nice. Last week he had a career high in carries and touches, and that was the same thing this week. He had a bunch of touches in Derrick Henry and then Dalvin Cook. But this time of the year, you pay up for the backs that are going to get the touches. I mean, Zeke had like 40 touches the other day, and he leads the league by far in opportunities. So pay up for those guys.
Julio has scored fewer than 10 points once this year. That was 3.8 points against Baltimore.
And what's he at for yards? He's got to be close to like 1,500 or something like that.
Total yards for the year, 1,429.
Yeah.
Do you know who has the most fantasy points of any wide receiver?
And this changes all the time. I know it's not Tyreek Hill anymore.
It is Tyreek Hill.
Is it still Tyreek
by
Hill?
1 point over Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Adam Thielen is third.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas. But if you go and look at their game logs, they put up stinkers.
Yeah.
They all do, except for really Julio.
Yeah. For me, it's
And
just
he is sixth in terms of scoring.
I've always went about things the same way, and I will again next year. Is I want running backs, I want bell cows, I want as many as I can. I really do. I want probably 2 in the first couple picks. If I'm picking first, I'm going to get myself, I think, 2 solid backs and a wide receiver. Because if you get a top 3 pick with Gurley, Zeke, Kamara, whatever, or McCaffrey,
I doubt that drafts will actually shake down that way. That 11.
there'll be 3 wideouts go.
Some crazy person will take Mahomes in the first round or something.
Is this in this mock too? Mahomes went early.
You're not going to take Mahomes early.
No, you're not.
This is the best year. He might have other good years and be the number 1 quarterback again, but I don't think that he'll outscore all the other quarterbacks by the amount that he's doing it this year.
Right.
And that's what you would need if you were ever to take a quarterback in the it's you can't really. It's like taking the tight ends early. You take the tight ends early because those are the 2 good ones, and they outscore everyone else by a ton.
Yeah.
Although I'd be curious to know where Kittle's going.
Well, Kittle was right after that, I think the next round.
Okay, because he's
Tight
not
end
he's
3.
not far behind those guys.
He's a superstar in the making. He's a top. I think he'll be my tight end 3 next year.
Yeah, I'd have him over Gronk for sure.
Yeah.
But where's Jalen Samuels in your tight end rankings?
Yeah, he's been awesome in my tight end.
He was
spot over
good
the past
yesterday,
couple weeks.
too.
For sure.
People were like mad that he didn't score a touchdown. It's like, man, he had 180 total yards.
Yeah, he was great, and it just like I have some issues with New England, and it makes you think like if we had Connor yesterday, we would have crushed it yesterday because Connor would have had an even better day against that soft New England run defense.
So Beckham out. Boyd hurt his knee. That's devastating.
is
that
tough.
offense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he did catch a touchdown before he left, so he did.
Yep.
He did contribute in some sort of small way, unlike Keenan Allen did.
Yeah.
Kiki was out. Ellington, DJ Chark, Garcon's on IR. Sammy Watkins, Enunwa, Deshaun Jackson all missed the week.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see these guys again.
I don't think we will. Last thing I heard about Deshaun Jackson is he can't catch a football. His thumbs.
He can't close his hand.
Thumbs just like this.
He's giving the Bill Clinton thumbs up
Yeah.
all times.
Yeah, got the cast on his thumb.
So pickups like Robbie Anderson still widely available. He has a 29% market share the last 2 weeks.
Eagles this week. It's a good spot for him.
I wonder if his market share goes down if Quincy comes back though.
Yeah, I think that's a guy I don't think we'll see either. I think his ankle's just bums. I think I saw reports
They
like,
got Green Bay this week. The Jets.
oh yeah, my bad. I'm thinking of the Texans because I just played the Texans. Yeah, so they got Green Bay. That matchup's fine. Robbie was pretty good, man.
Robbie was good.
Yeah,
it's
he
taken
was-
him an entire year to get on the same page with Darnold, but it's finally happening.
Yeah, and you talk about quarterbacks and being a weird week. Yeah, Darnold was like QB5 or something this week. That goes to show like how mediocre the position was this week.
Denver receivers, Tim Patrick.
And Deshaun had 12 targets, 7 catches. I know he only got us 4 in a standard format, but that's 12. That's over 20 targets in 2 games now for Deshaun, but set 14 catches. Quick math. Don't quote me on it, but I think he's got
I don't
13
know
to
if those
14
numbers
catches.
are entirely accurate.
I don't know, man. I think he got 7 catches last week, and I know he got 7 this week.
He had 7 this week?
12 and
I thought he
7
only had
for
5
12
this
for
week.
40 something.
Now I need to investigate.
Yeah, go
this.
double check that. But Deshaun is
7 for 46,
yeah.
12 targets. Patrick was
targets.
5 for 65 on 8.
Yeah, they're both options in deeper 14 team leagues PPRs. Like Deshaun, I started in a 12-team league.
Now, would you rather have Deshaun or like Robert Foster?
I
Or,
think
or
I would-
Isaiah McKenzie?
Yeah, good call.
I think I'd rather have those
I think
guys.
I would rather Foster, and then I would go to Deshaun.
I like it. Isaiah McKenzie
like
had
it.
6 catches in the first half before he got hurt.
Yeah, no. It's been a couple straight weeks. Who do the Bills have this week?
The Bills play at New England.
Yeah, I mean,
You know who
that's-
kills New England? Fast players.
Oh man, the Patriots are finally. Are you ready to go there? That they're just
No,
done?
I'm definitely not.
No, because every year they turn.
We did the show with Tim yesterday. He's like, "Oh, they're dead." Da, 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 da. It's like, "Oh, they can't win a playoff game." It's like, what are you talking about?
They can, but the one thing is that game may not come at Foxborough right now. Like
Well,
Houston has the
first
bye right
the first
now.
round matchup will.
The first round matchup will sure. And who's in Baltimore? Oh, that's not a team I want to play.
No, listen, they're far more susceptible to losing in the first round this year, especially if they don't get the bye, and then if they have to go on the road in round 2. But I wouldn't just sit here and be like, "Well, they can't win."
Right, of course.
That seems kind of nuts.
Yeah, you'd be silly not to.
They could have won
to
that game
say it.
yesterday.
They could have won that game yesterday, but yeah, I guess like the run game was really non-existent, and Gronk just doesn't look himself. He really doesn't, and I don't know.
I still think Pittsburgh
they
misses the
need him.
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly possible. Baltimore's schedule is tough to finish out.
No, they go Chargers this week, but it's
That's
in
tough.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it's tough.
They can win that game. I think they win that game. So Baltimore, and then they go
Cleveland.
Cleveland in week 17 in Baltimore as well.
Yeah,
Now the game is in Los Angeles this week, Saturday night. But there's no home field advantage.
there's no
so it
home
doesn't
field
matter.
advantage, so it really doesn't matter.
They need to win that
And
Chargers game, obviously, and the Pittsburgh's in New Orleans.
Pittsburgh's in New
And if they
Orleans.
lose one of those games, and Baltimore goes 2-0, and Baltimore wins the division.
Yeah, okay, and then you're looking at New England playing Pittsburgh again.
No, Pittsburgh would be out.
Well, you'd think they would just be out.
I-
Well, I guess the Colts.
The Colts would pass them.
The Colts have 2 pretty easy matchups.
Colts,
too. The Colts-
Titans, and the Colts and Titans would probably pass them.
Well, they play each other week 17.
Who?
Colts and Titans.
Okay, so the winner
So
of
the
that
winner
game
of
would be a
that
play-in game.
would
So
be
there's your
the-
Sunday night game.
Yeah,
But Pittsburgh needs to lose, and Baltimore needs to win to make all this happen.
yeah. It's very interesting. How it
I'd
could
like to see
shake out.
Pittsburgh out. I can't stand Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I can't
rather-
stand Tomlin.
I'd rather see Indy in there. I really would. And I want to see Baltimore in for my own financial. They need one more win, Meaney. One
Okay,
more win.
One more win.
To hit the over for 8.5, but they still have the chance of the division. I'm like, all right, here we go.
All right, perfect. Yeah, well, I hope you get that. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, I would like to see Pittsburgh in just because I feel like it would probably be more entertaining. With no disrespecting Andrew Luck. I mean, that was pretty phenomenal yesterday. Put the Cowboys in their place. 0 points from Dallas.
This is the best thing that could have ever happened to Dallas.
Yeah, offensive
It
line.
pisses me off because I don't like Dallas either. But like, this is the perfect. Just reset expectations just a little bit.
Yeah,
and this loss probably ends up making them better.
Yeah, it probably does. And I was looking at their schedule too, because mathematically the
Skins are still in it. I
Skins
know
and the Eagles are still in it, but I just don't think there's any way. Like Dallas plays the Giants, and I think they have Tampa.
They play Giants week 17.
They play
I would
Giants
assume.
week 17.
They could lose to Tampa.
They do. They have Tampa this week in Dallas. Yeah, they could. They're favored by 7 in that one. Wow. But
We'll get to the spreads here in a bit.
yeah, I think they're in. But that was a little bit of a reality check. And again, I think we talked about this last week. This is why I don't give them enough credit in the edge, because of Dak. He's just not good enough.
If we want to talk about who killed us, it was Dak.
It was Dak.
Now, he was the reason that we were there to begin with. So
Fair. He did.
And
He did have a good game against the Eagles. But yeah, all the quarterbacks sucked. In one of my 2 quarterback leagues, Dynasty League, I think I had 7 points from Dak and Mariota, which was right on par from what I got from Barkley. So it was an extremely weird week. And guys like Alshon Jeffrey showed up yesterday. Kenny Golladay, tough matchup. Kenny Golladay.
I did not think I was so off Kenny Golladay.
Me too. Of course. Yeah.
Joe Holka, who I had on last week after the DraftKings show, was big on Golladay yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it's football. Just when you think you know everything, nobody knows anything. The Eagles are, 2 touchdown underdogs, and they were up by 14 in the fourth quarter yesterday.
Let's talk streaming quarterbacks then. Nick Foles, quarterback of the future. Listen, you're the Eagles fan.
I mean,
he starts the rest of the year, right?
yeah. Every time he's come in, they've won a Super Bowl. Every time he's filled in for Carson Wentz, they've went on to win
What
a
do
Super
you
Bowl.
do, though? Because,
I don't know.
if Wentz really has a fracture in his back, keep him out.
Of course. He's not going to play again this year. 100%.
There's talk that he might play this week.
It's stupid. It's stupid talk. He's not going to play again. And it's also stupid talk to say that Foles is better than him.
So you're on board. You don't want to cut Wentz and keep Foles?
No, I don't. But it's interesting. This is why they kept Foles, because Wentz has now been hurt for the last 5 years, dating back to college. I have some concerns with him, and now Wentz is an unrestricted free agent, or Foles is unrestricted free agent. What does he want? How is this going to shape up next year for him? Like, is he going to sign again with Philly, and is he comfortable being a backup, or is he going to go take a starting job? Is he going to finish out strong this year and win the final 2 games of the season, beat Houston this week and beat Washington, and then is he going to be a starter next year? It's very interesting.
I wouldn't just say beat Washington. They have Josh Johnson.
They do.
And they cashed their 3-1 money line yesterday.
Yeah, how bad are the Jags, though?
Bad. They were saying.
How bad? And what's going on with Leonard Fournette? I can't touch this guy next year in drafts.
I don't know what to do with him this week. That's going to be the big thing, because he came out after the game and said that they game planned to give
Who?
create a player Williams touches.
Right.
Who Fournette touched the ball once in the second half, and it was like a 33-yard run or something. It was
makes
great.
no sense, man.
But
Like,
it-
is he in the doghouse? Did he do
Probably.
something?
He's been suspended a game. He's
Yeah,
always
so
hurt.
he chirped some fans and he didn't get suspended, so this was his punishment. He got
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's probably what it was.
last year he showed up late to something. He was suspended for a game. He got suspended this year from the NFL.
I watched
He's always hurt.
a good amount of that game yesterday. You know how my setup is at the bar.
Yeah.
That way I have the 5 TVs in front of me. I have the 2 games on the laptop and Red Zone on my iPad.
Yeah.
But of course that game wasn't on. So whatever games I have on my computer, usually the 2 shittiest games of the week, because they're not on any of the TVs. So I watch them in front of me, and that was one of them.
Yeah. It was rough, man. I tuned in a little bit because I had some Fournette.
Like, the most profitable show I've done all year was this Friday show with Jeff Ulrich. It was incredible. He gave out Brashad Perriman first touchdown, 40-1. I gave out Andy Jones first touchdown in the
Nice.
Buffalo game.
Wow.
And Redskins money line, which was 3-1.
That's ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it was. I had a terrible DraftKings week, but I didn't play that much on DraftKings. I kept looking at my teams and being like, these teams are terrible.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I wouldn't. There was the one time I talked to you off camera here before we came on. I didn't play any tournament lineups I usually do, and I was cursing myself early on because I had all the backs. Like I had so much Henry and Mixon and Dalvin Cook. I was like, I'm cruising. The rest of the, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. I'm not in any tournaments. Then my wide receivers didn't show up. There's enough to do in cash, but those are 3 unbelievable calls, especially the first touchdowns.
Did you say it on the Footballer Show this week?
Yeah, the footballers was top notch. top notch.
The footballers are getting your good stuff.
Yeah.
We're just talking it through on Mondays.
Yeah, we were talking it through. And even, Jason Moore came on, had some good plays, and Ben Cummings came on and had a contrarian play with Julio Jones and Marlon Mack, Marlon
Mack was excellent. He was on the Millionaire Maker winning team.
Yeah, I was not on board with Marlon Mack. I thought it was a tough matchup. He had two very mediocre weeks.
He was
back to
averaging
backs.
like 8 yards a carry yesterday.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Those goal line opportunities.
stole Luck's touchdowns.
He did steal Luck's touchdowns. Because Luck looked like it was a touchdown. It looked like he was in, and then they went back to Mack.
And then Hilton dropped a touchdown.
Yeah, Hilton dropped one. I think Ebron had a bunch of drops, of course.
Well, the pick in the end zone was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It was called back. It wasn't a pick because it was a
you
free
guys-
play.
he
But
gets
Ebron
saved.
just dropped
But
a touch. The ball just hit Ebron in the hands and popped up in the end zone.
It's amazing how good of a season he's had with this.
Considering he can't catch, I know.
Considering he can't catch and he's had so many drops. So yeah, the footballers pod was top notch this week. We had some good plays. Like
What day does that come out? Fridays?
yeah, Friday morning. It's out Friday morning.
Film it Thursday night.
We film it Thursday night, and it was Friday morning. Yeah, all the backs that we talked about, man. We only talk about two each, and they were all hit, like Mixon and Cook and Mack and.
I thought I was
Henry.
so slick getting Barkley and Elliott into a lineup with Joe Mixon. I was like, here we go. Done it. It works. The rest of the team, not so hot as it turns out.
And Barkley.
I had to rely on a D.D. Westbrook return touchdown.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Barkley had the tough matchup, but he was fine. He's been fine all year. I think 94 yards.
This was
the
his-
fewest
this
he's
was
had
his
all
worst
year.
game?
That was his worst game he's had all year. It was a sloppy weather and Titans solid defense, but
Someone commented this to me, like, oh, you should have seen this coming. Like, when you put bad offenses in the rain, it's going to be sloppy. It's like,
That's not true.
It poured rain in Baltimore. It didn't stop.
yeah.
Like, that game went exactly how everyone thought it was going to go. Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson was able to pass. Turns out his hand's not made of sugar, so
Right.
it didn't melt when he was trying to pass. It turns out the Giants may have
Yeah.
been punching a bit over their heads the past month.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it is. So, yeah, we've seen good games and good offenses before in the pouring rain. It's happened before.
Millie Maker winning a lineup.
Yeah, let's
If knowing what
this.
you know now, knowing all the stats,
yeah.
who do you think was on it? Because you know how the games have turned out.
Yeah, I would say
Quarterback,
Allen.
Matt Ryan.
Okay,
He was the
Ryan had
highest
32
scoring.
points or whatever.
He had
didn't have?
25.
25? Okay, it was a different league I was looking at. 25, and that was QB1 by a long shot because the other guys were played on Saturdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, Allen was the next closest with 21, I think.
Okay. And then
Trubisky.
Trubisky. Lamar's in there around 17, perhaps.
Like Josh Johnson, who I played at 14.9.
Yeah, 14.
Which wasn't like crippling. And he was only $4,300.
Yeah. So I had Brady on my big one with the backs. Like he was 5'9" on DK, and I was like,
It's like he's the cheapest
because
ever.
originally I had, so when I was putting together my lineup again, like Cook, Henry, Mixon, boom, those are my three backs. They're all very affordable. And I was looking, I was like, okay, I have Josh Allen at $5,800. Well, Brady's $5,900.
Why wouldn't I have Brady? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's the mistake you get into. You look for that high ceiling.
So Matt Ryan was the quarterback. 2 running backs.
Well, you said one was Mack, right?
One was Marlon Mack.
One
yes.
had to have been Henry, no, at 5,000.
No. Derrick
Mixon?
Henry is not on this team. Mixon's on this team as the other running back. There's the running back in the flex is Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Okay, so had the 2 of the 3.
So here's where this guy got tricky.
This is where it's
Julio,
Okay.
Mike Evans,
Wow, Evans.
and Kenny
so-
Galladay.
Wow. And
This
those
is
are
just
all
a-
contrarian plays.
They're all contrarian plays. This is just a very balanced team. Kyle Rudolph had him 5 points,
Wow, Rudolph.
and Falcons D had 20.
Yeah, I fell into a Vernon Davis trap yesterday in a couple
me-
spots too.
Who do you think my tight end was with Josh Johnson?
The big 0. Yeah.
No, he had more than 0.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a catch. Swear to God.
I don't know.
I think he had like 2.3 points.
Okay, well, when I looked towards the end of the game, he had 0 in one of my leagues, and I was just like, I'm not playing Jordan Reed. And in my season format, Jordan Reed, no, I'm not playing him. And then
3.6 points.
3.6. Wow, so
2
he showed
catches
up in
for 16
Must have been on
yards.
the final drive. And then I was like, oh, maybe Trey Burton. No, I'm not playing Trey Burton. Scores a touchdown. I was like, I'm feeling Davis. Did they have Falcons D?
Yeah. Falcons D, 20 points.
Okay.
I faded Falcons D because we talked about Falcons D on this show
Yeah, we
last
did.
week
Yeah.
as a great season-long pickup. But when it got time to do like ownership, I had them projected out. I don't even know what they actually came in at, but I thought they were going to be the highest owned D. And I was like, you know what? If Atlanta's D kills me as the highest owned D, I'll have to live with myself.
Then you just live with it. Yeah.
and now I'm sitting here on a Monday having to live with it.
Wow. Yeah, they were top notch yesterday.
But I think my projection was off on them in terms of how much they were actually owned. because I thought they'd be around 13%. What were they? They were 6.8%. So I'm an idiot.
Wow.
Bad at projections.
It's tough, man. How can you do projections? I mean, Julio, Galladay, and Evans. I would never think to play all three in one lineup. I was in on Julio. Like Ben talked me into it a bit, but I was thinking, those games where Julio says a top coverage, Calvin Ridley kind of shows up in those games. So maybe I'll go a little Calvin Ridley. Not a good idea.
QBs you can consider for this week if you had to stream and you're pissed off at all your regularly scheduled quarterbacks. Although they all had bad weeks, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Josh Allen,
still
out there. You have, Marcus Mariota, Case Keenum.
I
don't know if I could do that.
No,
in my fantasy
tough.
championship.
You might be right about Allen being a fantasy MVP because
You're gonna use him this week.
I went up against him twice yesterday. I used him myself yesterday, and those teams all successful. Looking back, thinking in the two matchups I lost against Allen and the one I'm gonna win with Allen, and what he's been able to do over the past 4 weeks. Again, this is why you don't draft a Patrick Mahomes, early. Look at all the Aaron Rodgers owners out there. Tell me that you're playing for a championship this week with Aaron Rodgers on your roster or Tom Brady on your roster.
I did it with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was I said I was going to bite on him in the 5th round. He'd be the guy that I go after, and I did. He was terrible for like 6 weeks, and I was out of it by the time he got good in a lot of those leagues. Josh Allen, in the past 4 weeks, if you've been playing him, 26, 28, 18, 19. He's been good every week. He's been great in 2 of the weeks.
And he's going to do the same thing again this week. Another 17
He's
plus.
going to be awesome against the Patriots.
And, Foster, I wonder what his ownership is. I think you could play him in leagues this week.
You could play Foster. You could probably play McKenzie again,
because I played Foster in a 14 team, and I think now it's to the point where, sure, he may have those bust games, but...
Foster's only 3.3% owned, on ESPN at least.
On ESPN, yeah, NFL.com.
Would he be a top
0.
30 at NFL.com? He's either 100% or 0.
0.
What do you think he...
Top 30
Top
wideout?
30 wideout this week?
I think he's a borderline fringe wide receiver 3. I think for sure in standard leagues because of that
13,
big playability.
17, 3, 17, 20.
Yeah, so we got that bust game in there, but
The 1 week I used.
yeah, of course, right? It's always how it goes. But again, I looked at the ADOT, and it was just such a small sample size, but I had tweeted it out, and I got some flack from people. Oh, well, and I said in the tweet, it's a small sample size. But
Everything
26,
in football is a small sample size.
yeah, it's just taking shots from down the field with him. And we saw yesterday a 48-yard touchdown. I think that was like a 26, 27, 28-yard pass. I think exactly where his ADOT is around.
He can fly.
He can fly. He's extremely fast. And, when Allen is running around like that, that's when those big plays happen. It's like Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson back in the day. It's like Vick was running around in circles. Oh, wait, I got Jackson in the end zone 80 yards down the field. Both of those guys could be the reason you win a fantasy football championship. Put Damian Williams in there and you got yourself a team.
Tight ends. No real injuries at tight end this week. I had Nick Boyle suffered a concussion. Jordan Reed didn't play.
Yeah.
Would you pick anyone up? Like Evan Ingram was the highest scoring tight end yesterday.
Yeah.
15 points.
No, I wouldn't pick anyone. Unfortunately, the guy I like is Ian Thomas. Hopefully I don't like him after tonight.
Yeah, hopefully he sucks tonight.
But Ian Thomas has, it brings me down, but he's been pretty
Thomas and Vernon
okay.
Davis are probably the two.
Yeah, those are the two guys.
Jeremy Sprinkle? He was the one who actually caught the touchdown.
I know, right? No, I can deal with this. I can deal with those guys. I'm drafting tight end early next year.
Us having Kittle all year has been super helpful.
So who's going to be that kid? Who's going to be that guy?
Next year?
Who's going to be that guy? Do
you think
OJ Howard is probably in that top 5 borderline range with Kittle and Njoku? I want one of those 3 probably.
Yeah. It's probably Njoku.
Yeah. Because we were both on Kittle as hey, that's that tight end 8, 9, 10 off the board near the 12th round.
Yeah, I went through my rankings on last week's show. I wasn't. I had him at 14.
Okay, well,
I'm an idiot.
Well, still, he was.
So
but you're thinking
you drafted him in our league for us, so that really worked out.
But your thinking was near the end, and
take one of these upside guys.
Yeah. So I wonder who that guy will be next year.
It could be Burton again. Now that everyone doesn't want him,
could be Burton. Does Delaney Walker come back next year and healthy? 1 year of him.
He's real old. Chris Herndon the 4th.
Herndon could be that guy.
Chris Herndon had a solid 8.3 points.
Yeah, he's been.
That was top 10 for the week.
He might finish as the top 12 tight end this year. As bad as the position's been, and he had a good chunk of games in there where he's okay.
I'm curious to where now he's not. Herndon is
You have the top 12 there?
15th.
Season-long league?
He's 15th.
He's 15
for the year.
But he's probably one touchdown away from being tight end 8.
He's not. There's a gap of like
There's a
15
slight
points
gap.
between the Kyle Rudolphs and the Uzamas and Herndons of the world.
Okay,
There's a
yeah.
bit of a gap.
Zama, yeah.
But like Kelsey's outscoring everyone by a massive margin. Then it's Kelsey, then it's Kittle, then it's Ebron and Jared Cook. Those are your top 5.
Yeah. Is Ebron going to be drafted as a top 5 tight end next year? Even with Jack Doyle hanging around?
He shouldn't be.
No, he shouldn't be.
But probably, yeah.
But maybe.
Austin Hooper, number 4. OJ Howard still number 8.
Wow. And he missed some games before he got hurt. He missed like 2, didn't he?
No, he ended up playing the 1 week. No, he missed the one game.
He missed maybe 1, I think.
His break caught the touchdown of that game as
was
Chuck.
his
That
only
was the
catch.
only catch that he had.
Yeah.
And then, he missed the rest of the season.
Yeah. I'll be in on him in around the top 5 if I can get him as a top 5 tight end.
Let's talk some D rankings. I actually have these up.
DSTs.
If you go hit up my column from last week, my defense rankings columns, I actually had the Week 16 defenses and the waiver wire column last week too. I had them. I have Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Rams, Tennessee, Minnesota, Jacksonville, the Chargers, and Houston.
A lot of options out there.
There. I should probably put Miami on that list higher. I have them at 14 against Jacksonville. They should probably just be higher because they're playing Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's pathetic. Yeah, Tennessee against Washington. It's not as, if Mark Sanchez is playing to be top notch.
Minnesota had 9 sacks yesterday. I think that goes overlooked.
And they're playing Detroit.
Who gives up a ton of sacks?
Yeah, if you remember 4 weeks ago, I think they had double digits.
That's never going to happen
on
again.
Stafford. No, but you could probably chalk up to. You're gonna get
I
5 or
have
6.
Minnesota at 7, but I just think that like in lieu of like a waiver wire for the week, I think just looking at the rankings is going to be the key.
Yeah.
If you do want to make a pickup.
Yeah. Colts interesting against the Giants.
A little bit, yeah.
Slightly.
I don't love the Colts though, is the problem.
Eli Manning coming back for another year.
Good for the Giants.
Yeah, Miami's a good spot. And they're available.
They are. Tennessee's available. People didn't pick them up for whatever reason last week to play. Who's playing Arizona? It's the Rams, right?
Yeah, the Rams
Can't pick
playing
up against
Arizona. Denver's still an option against Oakland.
Buffalo against New England. Is that too risky?
It's a little risky.
I had them at number 18 in the rankings.
Yeah, it's a little risky, but when New England, I know Buffalo's a different place to play. People don't believe that, but it actually is a very tough place for teams to go in and play football. And they did really well against Tom Brady earlier this year. They held Brady in check for most of that game. It was a late touchdown, I think that.
Yeah, they should have. I remember they should have covered the game.
Yeah,
maybe they did. Did they cover the game? I can't remember now.
It was a late touchdown.
They did. That was one of their only road covers of the season. Let's talk some update. Let's talk some early spreads for the week. Should let everyone know the odds and lines are subject to change. See website for actual odds. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambler.
I had a gambling solution this week.
Did you?
It was great.
Man, I lost a 5-game parlay yesterday on Seattle. Just had them on the money line. Just on the money line. Had the Chargers on there. Had the Browns on there. Like, what am I doing with putting? I don't know how you go about your parlays, but I shouldn't have 3 or 4 upsets on one.
I very rarely make parlays. I made a 3-gamer yesterday. It was the Vikings, the Titans, and the Bengals. Those are just 3. Those were the 3 games I liked the most yesterday. I like the Skins too, but I only wanted to bet them on the money line.
I just stayed away from that game.
I was just like, these teams are even.
Yeah.
I don't understand this.
I couldn't believe the 7.5 spread. I didn't understand that. There's no reason Jacksonville should have that big of a spread.
No, that's the whole thing. Like,
They're both garbage.
Getting Josh Johnson's a significant upgrade from Mark Sanchez.
He was the best quarterback on the field yesterday.
Kessler was
in
Kessler
that
rushed
game.
for like 70 yards. I don't know
Did
how
he
that's
really
possible.
run for 70 yards?
I think it was 65.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was something like
better day than Fournette.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, "What is going?" Because they said it's like, "Oh yeah, the Jags finished with like 170 rushing yards." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I went and looked. It was all Cody Kessler.
It was all Cody Kessler. Yeah. Yeah. Seattle was on the wrong side of that Seattle game. Burned me because it was all over Cleveland on Saturday night. That was a tight game though.
So Saints Panthers tonight. It's still 6. I like Carolina to win this game.
Yeah. I think.
Look at what we just witnessed in Week 15.
Look how it just
either the Saints win by 7 million points or the Carolina wins.
I like Carolina on the spread. Division game on the road. You know what? Drew Brees and the offense haven't been all. They've been unbelievable all year long.
Since Cuss took a
past couple
victory
games.
lap.
Oh, it's Cuss's fault, isn't it?
Cuss took a victory lap about 4 weeks ago on Kansas City and the Rams about how that is his Super Bowl pick. Is Kansas City and the Rams. Good pick.
Yeah.
And then he started
Great pick.
And then he started bragging about it, about how he wants credit for making such an accurate pick. This is a Super Bowl pick, mind you.
Yeah.
This was like week 12. He's talking about this.
Yeah.
Ever since, like Kansas City they lost their running back. Everyone's getting hurt.
They don't have the
games. They might not get a bye anymore.
They don't have the defense, and that's what we saw with the Chargers.
Chargers D was solid.
They have the best all-around team in the AFC. They have the best all-around team in the AFC, and for Kansas City, you can't win football games in the playoffs. Like, what if Kansas City puts up 24 points in their first playoff game? Is that a win, do you think?
No. But I would expect them to put up 40.
Yeah, exactly. I would expect them to, but what if they just have a dud game and a playoff game, Mahomes' first playoff game, things are not working, they have a couple 3-and-outs, all of a sudden they put up 24 points. Their defense has given up that.
See, that's the issue right now. Like the past 2 weeks, they've put up what? Was it 31 against Baltimore?
Against Baltimore? Yeah, I
in the
think
overtime.
they won in overtime.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
So they put up 31 against Baltimore, and they put up 28 against the Chargers. Probably the two best defenses in the AFC.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing against everyone else? They're putting up 45.
Yeah, they're going to put up 45 on New England or Pittsburgh.
The best
or,
unit in the AFC is still Kansas City's offense.
Yes. And I mean, I like him too. It's a great pick by Cuss, but some concerns with both teams.
Ever
now.
since he started bragging about it, it's come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, both teams. And
The Rams are just terrible. Now,
yeah, I have some concerns with the Rams. You know, they lose Cooper Kupp. I think honestly that's Goff's number one weapon and the guy he's most comfortable with. But my problems with them is like their offensive line right now. You know, back-to-back weeks with Chicago and Philadelphia's two strong front fours have been able to get pressure on Goff, and Goff has just looked very mediocre. Against Chicago, against Philly, like a couple of his throws were just pathetic.
If you had to pick one of these quarterbacks to start your team with today, knowing everything you know now, would you take Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, or Jared Goff? Would it be Baker?
It might be Baker, man.
It might be Deshaun for me.
Deshaun would probably be 2. In my head, I was back and forth with Baker and Deshaun.
I think it would be Deshaun. He's so good.
He is so good. And you have to remember, too, like I kind of treat him just as a rookie as well because he only played half the season last year.
5-6 games last year.
And it takes a little bit. I heard him in the pregame talking about how he felt like a rookie all year. He had jitters. He didn't feel comfortable with himself because of the knee. And now he says he feels like a seasoned vet. I was just joking around, but he's played one full season.
It's funny, like you mentioned the Wentz injuries, how he's been injured for the past 5 years. I know that Watson blew out his knee last year, and it was non-contact that he blew it out. It was in practice. Remember, we were just sitting here.
It
scrolls. Deshaun Watson out for the year.
Devastating.
Then you have to make sure it has like the blue check mark next to the guy's name, so you know people aren't fucking with you. But with Wentz, like he hurt his knee in practice. Now he has this back injury. I've just been impressed with the way that Watson's been able to hold up this year. Like the knee was clearly a problem for Wentz when he came back, and he missed the first few weeks. And then even for the first few games that he was back, he couldn't plant properly.
Yeah.
I think he may have had this back problem for a while.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you. That could be why he's been so bad. But with Watson, he had the same knee injury, no ramifications coming back from it week 1, and he has had the living shit kicked out of him this year, and he gets up every time. He had a bruised lung at one point, played anyway.
Yeah.
Like he's just, it strikes me, because Stafford got this rep early in his career too, that he was injury prone because he had like 2 freak injuries, and I don't think he's missed a game since 2012.
Right. Yeah.
Watson feels kind of like that to me. You would think that eventually they stop running like jet sweeps with him at the goal line where he gets crunched every play. Maybe get the poor guy an offensive line so he doesn't get sacked 9 times a game.
Yeah,
but he just gets back up. It's like Cam. Cam gets back up every single goddamn time.
And Cam, I think, takes more hits than anybody.
And he takes crushing hits.
And sometimes they're not even penalized. So Cam, as much as I kind of, point the finger at him being a baby and sore loser, he gets crushed and hit a ton. So I can understand why he'd be frustrated. But to your point about Watson, I mean, I don't think there was a quarterback that was hit more than him out of the first 8 weeks of the season. Like he was getting hit like left, right, and center. And he's been moving around. Like he's been very mobile. Wentz hasn't moved around like he moved around last year.
No, the knee injury seems to have been far more impactful on Wentz than it was on Watson.
And Eagles reporters are saying they can tell he's not planning
making
on his
excuses for Carson Wentz.
Sure, maybe it's
or
excuses.
the god Nick Foles.
but talking about how he's not planning on his foot. And also, there was some reports talking about Jordan Matthews said this when he left Philadelphia. He said that the training staff in Philly he was shady, and they weren't truthful to a couple things.
Oh, like they were untruthful. It wasn't just LaShawn McCoy wearing a stethoscope.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of just hearsay going on right now with the Eagles and Carson Wentz. That to your point, what you just said. This was a back injury, something that he's had for a few games. This didn't just creep up. This was something that's been bothering him for a couple of weeks now, and all of a sudden it's a little bit more significant now. It seems like he doesn't need surgery, but I have some concerns with Carson Wentz. He would be 3 on that list. Goff would be 4. Goff has looked good because of the weapons around him and his head coach, his play calling. Goff has looked like one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen over the past couple weeks.
Hey, you'll notice
with pressure in his face.
You'll notice I didn't throw Mahomes on this list because the answer would be Mahomes.
Mahomes, again, he just continues to impress me every single time I watch him play. And even like listen to Joe Buck, he even says like, wow, you have to watch this guy live. I saw him live too in Cleveland. So smooth. Again, against the Chargers, a couple no-look passes. He extends a play. Like that first touchdown when he was over on the sidelines and it looks like he was just going to run out. And he's just like, no, I'll just take this hit and chuck
I'll
it
throw it to my main man, 33-1, Demarcus Robinson first touchdown.
Cash, and you're killing those first touchdowns.
I tell you, I had a great week. Like all of my terrible picks for the entire season were more than made up. Hit a 33-1 and 20-1 football bet.
That's unbelievable.
That never happens.
Who's going to get the first touchdown tonight?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like someone asked me for the Sunday night game. Like I only had
Kirkwood.
I only had 2 opinions on those 2 things, and they happened. I tried Janovich, too.
Yeah.
And Perriman, he was 100-1. But Perriman was the one who scored. Ulrich's pick. Wow. But I don't want to just start picking first touchdown long shots in these games for the sake of picking. I had a real beat on those, on what I thought was those 3.
Yeah, the minute you just start picking every single game, it's no credibility there. But that's pretty impressive.
It's worth looking at.
Yeah, now I'm just.
I think it's worth looking at. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got going on here. First touchdown props. First touchdown props are a lot like first round leader bets in golf to me, which I do really well with. Is that the books are getting better for first touchdown and not giving you what the odds should be. Like Andy Jones is only 20-1. He should have been like 80-1.
Yeah.
And in first round leader bets in golf, and I think I'm going to do a whole breakdown of like how to make these bets. And be profitable doing them during the offseason right before golf starts. But like everyone's like over 100-1.
Yeah.
Bet like 10 of them and hope one of them wins.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have the luxury in Canada with each way odds, which are just fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Is really a part of the strategy. It'd be tough to do. So let's see here. Taysom Hill, 25-1. It'll be interesting to see which tight ends are active.
I can't ever figure out what's going on with the Saints.
Oh, should we just hedge all our money on Ian Thomas first touchdown? 16-1.
Yeah, we probably should. This guy's gonna get 1 catch. It's gonna be a touchdown early on in the game.
One catch for 1 yard and a touchdown.
Yeah, the Saints have been pretty good against tight ends this year. So I mean, hopefully they continue that trend.
Keith Kirkwood's 20, Torrey Smith 25. Like those guys should be deeper odds.
Yeah, they
like
really
Demarcus
should.
Robinson at 33. I thought was for a guy that was starting for the Chiefs. That seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Torrey Smith at 25-1, he barely plays.
He's hardly played in the past 5 weeks.
I'll tell you, here we go. If you want to make 2 bets, I think these are the 2. These are the 2, the official bets of the Pat Mayo experience.
Let's hear them.
Right now, I'm going to log in and place my 2 wagers. 2 guys for first touchdown this week. Or in the Monday night game. Zach Line, 100-1.
Yes.
Alex Armah, 100-1. Let's do it.
Yes. Oh man, I hope I see it. Well, line's definitely a possibility.
And Armah gets a goal line carry once every 3 weeks.
Every
so hopefully this is
4
the
or
week.
5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure.
You just have to both these touchdowns 100-1 would be you hope they get caught on the 1 yard line. Because both these guys are live from the 1.
Yeah. Oh, completely live from the 1. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hope it happens.
Be great. You should get in on it.
I might
get in on the.
I'm going to actually. As hot as you've been, yeah, I'm going to get in on it.
This is probably where it ends. And maybe I need to stick to my wheelhouse range of 20 to 40-1.
20 to 40. Yeah,
guys that would fall in there would be Curtis Samuel, 20-1. That's actually not terrible.
I like Curtis Samuel a lot tonight.
Josh Hill, 20-1. Kirkwood, 20-1.
Josh Hill, 20-1.
Yep.
Like I feel like he should be 40-1.
I feel so too.
And Kirkwood's
Ben Watson's 12 to 1. The problem is here that there's no Dan Arnold. I don't know whether he's going to be active or not, but that's who I would take.
Dan Arnold.
But he's not on the list.
Yeah. That's what I mean with the tight ends with the Saints. It's tough to figure out, like, Watson, Arnold, Josh Hill. I would pick Arnold too if I had the choice between the three.
But he was a healthy scratch last week.
Yeah, but he's not there. I think Samuel has that game today.
Well, I'm hoping Alex Armagh can somehow find his way into the end zone for the first goal.
I'm hoping for
They're-
that as well.
Well, Cam's banged up, so he's probably not going to be running as much. And then if they just try to fake McCaffrey, everyone goes with him. Here you go, Armagh. He plays like 60% of the snaps.
He does.
He's just a fullback.
Yeah, he's just a fullback. He just blocks. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Who's the top guy in there? Kamara?
I think it's McCaffrey.
Yeah, probably McCaffrey.
McCaffrey,
100% of the snaps.
And scores all the touchdowns now. It actually is Kamara, 4-1 for first touchdown, -250 for anytime touchdown. McCaffrey 6-1, Michael Thomas 6-1, Ingram 10-1.
I wonder if the Saints get back to just using a whole lot of Kamara.
They
now.
should.
Yeah, because
They were amazing when all they used was Kamara.
2 weeks ago against Dallas, brutal, and against Tampa, their offense struggled as well. And you know what? Breeze is not a lock to have a fantastic game in Carolina. I know as bad as the Panthers' defense has been, it's not an easy environment for Breeze to go in and play. Like, he's had dud games on the road inside this division numerous times. Apart from Atlanta, he seems to always do well against the Falcons.
So just some other early spreads. Saturday night, Titans 10-point favorites against the Skins. I might take the Skins again.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at these two mediocre offensive teams going up against each other, there's no way 10 points. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even the Giants, they were in control of that game yesterday, but there was still a point where I was like, the Giants could easily, like a Barkley run.
Yeah, one big Barkley run breaks this
play,
back
and
open.
this game is like a field goal game again. So yeah, when teams like again, prime example yesterday, Jacksonville 7.5-point favorites against Washington, two brutal offensive teams, field goal game.
Baltimore at the Chargers. What do you think that spread is? It's too big.
It's probably like
4.5. Should be 3.
Yeah, I think
because there's no home field advantage for the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Not that there's going to be a ton of Ravens fans at the game, but still,
they haven't played a home game all year.
I'm curious to see how the Chargers defense handles Lamar Jackson, because that's really been the one thing with Lamar so far. Who's he played? I don't feel like he's played a good D yet. He played Tampa. He played Kansas City.
Played Tampa. He played Kansas City. He played
Atlanta.
They played the Falcons in Atlanta.
They played Oakland. They played the Bengals, Raiders, Falcons, Chiefs, and Bucks.
So he hasn't
since
played
he's
a good
taken over.
game.
He hasn't played a real defense yet, and now he gets one. And then he gets Cleveland again, who's pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
Did you at any point yesterday? Did you think they were going to go to Joe Flacco?
No, Lamar looked outside of the first quarter in a bit of that game where Jackson couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
He looked really good from that point on. Like he was
Yeah.
actually completing passes at a very high rate. The running was off the charts.
Yeah.
He was very good.
He did look good. I thought that one drive where he converted and they scored a touchdown, I thought that was the drive. Like, I thought he needed to do something on that drive, and he did. He moved all the way up the field. So I think, the rest of the way, it's for sure his job now.
Those are the Saturday games. Next Monday game, Denver at Oakland.
A little Gruden action.
Oakland. Oh, maybe he can commentate the game too.
Just go in the booth for a quarter. His team may do well.
Oakland, 2.5-point dogs at home against Denver. Not even the full 3.
Wow. I mean, I give the edge to Denver, but that's a close game. That's a tough game. I was on Cleveland this week, but that was a tough one too. I mean, they just play teams tight. I just don't love their offense.
No, it's not good.
No, it's not great.
And their defense is now just so banged up.
Defense kind of they look tired. They look tired to me. Like, they're not moving the ball consistently on offense. They're just playing a lot of plays on defense.
And the running game wasn't working against
No.
Cleveland, and that's so essential to
They need
keeping
Lindsey.
the defense rested and moving the chains.
But they're going to have success against Oakland. Run
they
the
should.
football.
You would think so, because everyone else does.
Yeah.
So
I
Lindsey,
think I'll be on Denver on that game.
if you're still in with Lindsey,
Yeah.
you can have the hammer on Monday night to win your league.
And he'll go down as like an MVP candidate.
Nah, but
No,
he's
but
not.
like not in the playoffs, but like all year.
Oh, yeah,
It's like
season long.
free agent pickup. Like, he's probably in the Connor.
Connor's the best.
Connor's
Connor was
the best.
pickup.
Mahomes may not have been drafted. I know he's drafting you and I in our leagues, but like, he may not have been drafted in leagues. Him, Connor, Lindsey. So are those the 3? Is there a wideout that stands out to you that was Boyd? Boyd has been a pretty consistent wide receiver 2 for most of the year. That was a free agent. Everyone had Ross. This is like 60% ownership on Ross after week 1, and Boyd was like 10%.
Boyd has been really good. It's just he's been banged up, and when Green went out, it was tough.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill.
Trying to think here, trying to see
Of a wideout?
of the wideouts who would
Like
be.
Galladay was drafted,
Yeah.
but he turned out to be a solid wide receiver 2 this season.
Out of all the pickups that you could have had, Boyd is the best. Lockett, maybe? Lockett's top 20 for the year. He has more points than Galladay.
Wow. Woods was drafted probably around 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, Woods is top 15 for the year in total points. Hump Daddy's 24th.
There's one. He wasn't drafted.
D.D. Westbrook is 26th. He has more points than A.J. Green. Chris Godwin has the 29th most points of any receiver.
And put up a 0 yesterday.
Yeah.
Godwin's good, and I'll be in on him next year. I think Deshaun Jackson will be gone from that team. I think they'll move on from him.
He'll be in like
Move on from Cutter. They'll draft another running back in the second round.
and not use him.
Maybe a kicker.
Okay. Yeah, I just got the text from Paul. Good producing note here from Paul because I wouldn't even have noticed this because I hadn't looked at it yet. Packers at the Jets. What do you think the line is in that game?
Packers at the Jets. I don't know. I would only give the Packers like 3 points.
Jets are favored
No way.
by 1.5.
The Jets are favored against the Packers. Wow. How crazy it's come. Nice note, Paul. It's something to talk about. How crazy things have changed for Green Bay over the past few weeks.
I don't know.
That
I might
they're
just
not
not bet
favored.
that game because that is very clear. Just take Green Bay because they're way better. But
I'm just taking. on the
I don't
money
know
line.
who could look at that line and be like, why would I take the Jets here? Which means the Jets are probably going to win.
I mean, things get crazy this time of the year. Yesterday was a case in point.
Is Philly a favorite or an underdog at home against the Texans?
They shouldn't be favored. But maybe 1 point.
They are a 1 point underdog at
1
home.
point underdog. Yeah, fair enough. They're gonna have their hands full with Hopkins. That's for sure.
Oh, maybe they just don't throw like the Rams. They can only throw to the running back.
Yeah,
And now that superstar Wendell Smallwood is scoring touchdowns again.
You know, I wasn't very impressed with Houston in that game. I know they pulled it off. It was a road game Saturday night, but I feel like they're a one and done team.
Who?
Houston Texans. I know they went and beat the Jets, but
They beat the
exactly they beat the Jets, but they struggled to beat the Jets. I felt like
They haven't been good against. They've been good against bad teams all year,
yeah,
but they've only really played bad teams all year.
yeah. I wouldn't pick them against the Pats, the Steelers.
They're risky
The
because
Chargers or the Ravens.
I like Watson in the final 2 minutes. He just brings a lot to the table because he has a giant arm, so the big play is always in play with him. He's just has excellent composure. The offensive line sucks, but he's so mobile that he can get you that first down. I can see like a Russell Wilson playoff run for him if everything clicks, but I think the offensive line is just too bad.
Yeah, the offensive line is bad. I think their team just, it just relies on J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney like to get pressure on the quarterback.
If Foreman can give them anything, if he's finally active, like Lamar Miller has actually been quite good this year for them, but
has
he's
been.
not good. If Foreman can come back and play like he was like the 2 games before he got hurt last
He'd
year,
be a game changer.
that could be scary. And
Excuse
he's fresh.
To even get on the field the next couple of weeks, probably get some touches week 17.
And
I would
then,
say.
then especially if they can get the bye week.
Got 2 more weeks. Interesting point you bring up because that he would be a game changer in their offense, 100%.
Who else have we got here? The Lions, 5.5 point dogs to the Vikings. Cowboys, 7 point favorites against Tampa.
I think that's slightly high.
I had Tampa yesterday. They opened at 7.
They hung around.
I got them at 9. They closed at 9.5.
Yeah.
And the whole point all week was like Lamar Jackson's not blowing anyone out.
No, yeah, that was my thinking as well. Like Winston is going to struggle on the road in Baltimore, but Baltimore's not going to put up 30 points. So yeah, they hung around. I think they'll hang around against Dallas.
What do you think the Patriots are favored by over the Bills?
Man, I wouldn't give them more than 7.
12.5.
I wouldn't have given more than 7. I'm not buying it. I'm not.
So you like the Bills?
Yeah, for 12.5, I do. I like the Bills right now. I think that line will come down.
I would think so too. But like the Bills didn't cover yesterday. They didn't cover against the Jets the week before. Like
They
they're-
don't.
They're
They win
not
games.
good. They're not good.
No, they're not, and they win games like by 1. Like I'm in a pool where I pick my own spread, and if I overbet, like if I picked the Bills yesterday by 3, I would have got no points. I pick them by 1 to win every game. When I pick them, they're by 1, and when I pick against them, I usually pick the other team by 1 as well because they just hang around.
So I guess the big game of the week, Chiefs at Seahawks Sunday night.
Chiefs.
What's
at
the line?
Seahawks.
What's the line?
Chiefs 2.5.
Chiefs 2.5 is exactly the line.
Interesting. I'm gonna take them.
On the road?
Yeah, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them on the road.
You think they're going to outclass
That's
Seattle?
That's gonna be a good game.
I don't know if it's going to be a good game or not. I actually
I
really
agree with
liked
you.
the Patriots and Steelers game yesterday. I thought that was a fun game.
Yeah, I
to
thought it was
watch.
a good game too. Like not, people, it
wasn't-
wasn't 50 points. Like it's still good. It was entertaining.
Yeah,
It's
it-
back and forth. Game on the line, last play.
See, Cust always gets into this with me that he really likes like defensive battles. He's just like, oh yeah, like that Washington Jacksonville game was really good. It was a defensive. It was not a defensive
wasn't
battle.
a
Those teams
defensive-
are just bad.
That was an offensive struggle.
Yeah, it was like
a difference.
Like we had the Giants and Titans game on like right at the TV, like right over to the right.
Yeah.
I was just watching. I was like, this game is horrible.
Yeah.
It was a horrible game.
Yes.
Like everyone is bad in this game. At least with that game, like the offenses moved the entire game, and the defenses held up. Like it was exciting. It was an exciting game.
Yeah.
Not just like there are 3-0 games that can be fun,
Sure.
but
I thought the Rams and the Bears a couple weeks ago it was okay. There was some entertaining plays and the defenses showed up, but like Washington and Jacksonville,
it was just like it was bad.
I mean, one of the worst football games in the last dozen years.
I think that there was like a combined 16 first downs. Like Jacksonville was significantly worse in that game. The only reason that it was even close, they had a return touchdown. That was it.
Monroe's fired. It's 100% gone. I said last week he lost his locker room. He completely has lost them. Jalen Ramsey's chirping him after the game, and they're not going to get rid of Ramsey.
I saw a lot of quotes this morning about the Jalen Ramsey. It was like, I would cut this guy from the team.
He said that
No,
about
there's just people's responses.
People's
to it.
responses,
But it was all
cut Jalen Ramsey.
The only people that I saw doing it though were like I had to message someone like my mom on Facebook or something like that. It was all like Canadian people who don't really watch football. Just a bad team guy, I'd cut him. It's like, of course you would.
The hockey mentality.
Yeah, the hockey mentality.
Yeah.
He thinks he's bigger than the team. Get him out of here.
Doesn't go in the corners, won't fight hard for the puck or dump the puck.
Very
in.
much the same logic that the Canadians used on PK Subban.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You think you're so good? We'll put you on another team.
Yeah, we'll just cut. You think you're bigger than this franchise? How dare you play music in the dressing room after
How dare you be the
4-3
best defenseman in the league?
loss? Yeah, thanks for that trade. That trade sucks. As much as I like Shea Weber, that's a trade I'll never get behind. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, I mean, yeah, he talks
He's
a
having
lot
a
of
bad
crap.
year.
He's having a bad year, and he's not backing up his talk, but you're not cutting him. He's still a top corner in this league.
Put it this way, I'd keep Ramsey before I kept Doug Marrone.
Absolutely. And, 4 weeks ago I was saying that he's fine, Marone, but he's not now. Like, I definitely think he's one of the coaches. I don't care. He was a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl last year. It doesn't matter.
I think that they're tanking. That's why they're not playing Fournette. Like they're actively trying to be bad and
That
lose
makes
games
sense.
to go up and get a quarterback
makes-
or get something.
Sure.
And if that's the case, then he probably keeps his job.
That makes sense, but why wouldn't they just keep playing Blake Bortles?
Because Kessler is worse than Bortles. He actually is.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there.
He's not good.
They're both real bad.
It's just they just got a
They're
good
both
scouting
real
report
bad.
on Josh Johnson. Take him. He's better than the two of them combined, maybe.
Are they going to bounce back next year and be a 9-win team, 10-win team?
No, I think it depends on what they do with their offense. If they get a legit, like, what if they just sign Flacco? Like, they're a lot better if they have Joe Flacco as their quarterback.
Yeah.
Not that Flacco's good, but
Just manages the game. It doesn't turn the ball. They just need someone to not turn the ball over. That's it.
and someone who
That's what
can
they
make a pass, like someone who can complete a 15-yard out route and doesn't turn it over every play. Boom.
need. It's a lot to ask for.
And
Now
it's-
we're looking for someone who can make a 15-yard pass and not turn the ball over every other play. It's a lot to ask for.
Trade for Josh Allen.
Sure.
Would you rather have Josh
Nick
Allen or
Foles.
Sam Darnold?
I'd rather have Sam Darnold.
No, that's the wrong
I
answer.
can't agree with you there. Darnold made some nice plays on Saturday.
He did. He
some nice plays.
Tim said that he had a transcendent throw for the second straight week. He completed a pass to a receiver who was wide open. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And he lost.
It was just Robbie Anderson in that game, but I'm not sold on him being a bust or anything. I think he'd be fine.
I'm telling you, he's this generation's Achilles.
I think he's
Smith.
gonna be better than Rosen.
I don't know. Rosen's tough to make heads or tails of right now because that team is so bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
Like he got thrown. He has the best players around him of any of the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
skill wise.
Skill-wise.
But he also has the worst team around. Like there's no offensive line.
No, there's none.
And like if you take away Fitz and you take away David Johnson, you're throwing two practice squad players.
Yeah, and now you're gonna take away Fitz next year. He's not gonna be there.
Is he not coming back? He'll come back.
Well, if he does, can you just go somewhere else?
You would like to see him somewhere
Of
else?
course, wouldn't you?
Maybe
I'd
you
like
can
to
help out
see-
Rosen.
He didn't help him out this year.
Where would they be without Larry
Oh
Fitz?
my goodness,
They had,
it's a
they
good
had
call.
secret bald Mike Glennon in the game yesterday.
I know, and Christian Kirk has he's missed the last few weeks.
He's
done,
done.
so he's not going to have
Chad Williams
build
could be
more
back.
of a rapport. If I was Fitz, like I would go to a playoff contending team, like one more attempt. Right? He had that one Super Bowl. What a Super Bowl that was against Pittsburgh. That was awesome.
And they didn't even win.
They didn't even win. So go to a team.
Seattle.
Man, imagine the Seahawks. That was a nice landing.
You could have
spot.
him and Doug Baldwin. And they just do exactly the same things.
Doug Baldwin showed up
two
yesterday.
TDs.
Yeah, good for Baldwin on my team in a bunch of leagues.
Yeah, all out of it.
All out of it
all
by
my
a
Baldwin
long
teams.
shot. Doug
Jerk.
Baldwin. Yeah, thanks for nothing.
Chris Meaney. When's that draft going to be released on Athletic?
It'll probably be this week. We'll wrap it up, and I'd say it'll be this week for sure before Christmas. We'll get it out there, and it'll be interesting. I think you're dead on when you say your average draft. I think there'll be like 3 or 4 wideouts go. Like I think when you're doing your draft with experts leagues,
McCaffrey seemed too low in that draft.
he definitely seemed too low. I think for me, he'd be 3. I really want Zeke.
Now that he is scoring,
He's 4 actually for me.
now that he is scoring touchdowns from the goal line, and they're giving him that opportunity, and he's actually finding the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to challenge his reception base. They're just not.
They're not, but no one's going to challenge.
He has-
I like the touches.
Barkley might, but I think the better Barkley gets, the fewer catches he ends up with.
Yeah.
Like, Barkley has 78 catches. McCaffrey hasn't played yet this week. He already has 86. Like he's going to end the year probably like 105 catches and 900 yards receiving.
Wow.
Like,
Like
that's-
last year, as a rookie, at like 80.
Yeah. And like if he can stay, and maybe he doesn't stay around there. Maybe they change their offense. That's not how it works. But if he can average close to 100 catches a year and 900 yards receiving, like that's ludicrous.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And he has almost 1,000 yards rushing now.
So he went 5 or 6 in this. Like he's top 4 for sure for me. Like, he's top 4 for sure. Like I would have him over Gordon and Kamara 100%.
1, 2, 3, 4 for the year for fantasy scores. Gurley, Barkley, McCaffrey, Kamara, Zeke.
Wow, Zeke is 5.
James
right?
Conner and Melvin Gordon still 6 and 7.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And then it's a James White.
Yeah, White.
And he hasn't done anything in weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say he could have been another MVP that we were talking about as a late round pick.
He's an LVP.
Yeah.
Because people are still playing him.
Yeah, you're right. And he's been.
I thought he'd have a great game yesterday.
Me too. I was in on him
I
yesterday
also
as well.
expected more than 29 points in that game or whatever it was.
And Hogan. Like Hogan's
Of course-
the guy.
of course Hogan
Yesterday,
gets
it was
that
a weird.
shot.
Yesterday was a weird week. We'll say that, but I think Gurley for me for one, and then Barkley, and then Zeke. But I think your average draft, you'll see those wide receivers go in the first few. But for the first time in I think 3-4 years, I don't think Antonio Brown is a consensus one.
He wasn't consensus one this year.
No,
he was consensus top 4. Gurley was the consensus one.
no, at wide receiver.
Oh, at wide receiver, yeah. Yeah.
You can make a case for
I
5 or
think
6.
Hopkins is the number one.
I think I would go Hopkins too,
I think he's the safest. And he still has more in the tank.
and I might go Julio too.
Julio's 31 now. Or he's going to be 31 by the
I know
beginning
that
of next
foot.
year.
You're worried about that foot.
AJ Green's a really interesting
So
one.
AJ Green, I took him in the 4th. I was like, I'm taking AJ Green here in the 4th. We talked about him last week, and I asked you if you thought maybe he would fall down to the 3rd or 4th round.
I don't think that he will.
I think he's going to fall outside the top 10 wide receivers for sure.
You think-
100%.
So who are you taking over from a wide receiver then?
Well, here we go. Tyreek Hill.
Hill, Adams, Thielen, Thomas, Brown, Julio, Juju, Hopkins, Keenan, Beckham. Those guys?
All of them. That's 10 right there.
Yeah, it's hard to make a case for AJ Green over any of those guys.
I think he gets into that next tier with
Evans,
and Cooper.
Diggs, Woods.
Woods, Cooks. I mean, Cooper Cup's slightly kind of close to that. See
Hilton,
how it bounced back.
Cooper.
Yeah, and you could even make a case for Hilton to be in that top tier. I think in a standard for sure. He just doesn't get those catches. Like he doesn't get those 90 to 100 catches like those other guys, but he gets the yards, and Luck is 100% back.
Yeah. Although he'll probably have some sort of mystery illness over the summer, and all of a sudden he'll miss another year. Be
And
like, well,
when's the
what's
last
going
time
on
you
here?
said that the offensive line has looked this good in Indy? It looks really good.
Yeah, when Ryan Kelly's back now too, and it made a substantial difference yesterday.
Yeah, good call. A huge. Maybe that's why Mac was so strong.
Well, I mean, coming into the game, we talked about this on the pregame show on Sunday that Ryan Kelly, when he was active, Colts running backs were averaging 4.9 yards per carry. Without him, it was 3.9. But I didn't think that Mac would do that against Dallas.
No, I didn't either.
So, all right, Chris Meaney, where can
Yep.
everyone find you? Athletic, Fantrax, at Chris Meaney.
Yep. Fantasy footballers, doing some DFS stuff with them. The articles are there. We'll be doing it all through playoffs, so that podcast is free. It releases on Friday. The Athletic for basketball and hockey. Fantrax for some football. Yeah, all that good stuff.
All right. You can follow me at the PME on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Remember to give the show a like on your way out. And if you do that, you could be in a draw for $20 DK as long as you leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and let me know which player you would actually pick up to play in a championship round off the waiver wire for Week 16. It could be no one. It doesn't matter what you answer. As long as you do those three things, the like, the name, and the pick, you're in the draw for $20 DK. I guess I'll announce the winner on next week's spread show. I got a fun DraftKings show this week, by the way.
I'll be tuning in live.
30 on Wednesday coming out. Draft Cheat, The Siege, me, DraftKings picks for Week 16. Save the best for last. The most fun show for Week 16, so check that out. All shows will be on a regular schedule the rest of the week as well. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. Good luck in the Fantasy Championships. I'll see you next time.